Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one.
Right to the first topic at hand. What's up, boys? Good morning. Hope you guys are great. As we get some people in here, we'll generate some discussion. wanted to quick announce probably the end of what is one of the biggest specials that we've run in the longest time, and that is the Cortex Stack being buy one, get one free. All right, so look, this is a potent instant stimulant, guys. You guys know it, those of you that buy the stack and routinely subscribe to and get delivered monthly this stack, that it is powerful. If you buy one bottle, you get a bottle for free. You just have to enter the coupon code Cortex BOGO, just how it sounds, B-O-G-O. Cortex BOGO will get you a bottle for free of the Cortex Nootropic Stack. So you can do that at livecortex.com. That special is going to end, looks like anytime soon, probably this weekend. I've got a certain amount of bottles I've got to move, and once those bottles are depleted, we're done for. All right, so we have a question already about TRT, and so as we filter some more folks in here, we'll get to some more questions. I guess let's just talk about, kind of how things have been going in my protocol. So I'm on 25 Proviron a day, 2 pumps testosterone cream, 170 micrograms kisspeptin twice daily. Now, the kisspeptin is a really interesting compound. I did this whole breakdown on it, and there's more that we're learning about it. Actually, also in I wouldn't call it a mild way, but it's not a substantial way, increases growth hormone secretion. So, it's unclear if it's as effective as a growth hormone secretagogue like ipamorelin or others, but the literature is pretty clear that kisspeptin will, through a different pathway, stimulate growth hormone release. I forget the pathway, but it's actually super fucking interesting. The crazy thing about kisspeptin is that, initially there were some major libido effects that were kind of different than how I typically feel on TRT. That sort of dropped off a bit, but what's very clear, very, very fucking clear, is that it is giving me ragers. Like that whole system's pretty good. I get them, but I'm getting more ragers, which I'm going to have to find a mechanism for, if it isn't just the gonadotropins. Today I ran total testosterone, free testosterone, prolactin. I'll be running estradiol this coming week on cream, just so I can see where it is. I'm probably considering bumping up to 3 pumps of cream because the energy is pretty great, but I think it could be a little bit better. I want to see if that fuzzes with libido. So we'll see moving forward. And the 25 milligrams per Proviron a day is just fucking rocking, for masculinity, energy, libido, sexual function, all that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with my protocol. I got to give kisspeptin a longer run to really see. Being off of HCG and being on kisspeptin, I do not notice testicular shrinkage, which indicates that it's working, right? But it doesn't feel like HCG. It feels vastly different. So, maybe I'll do a further breakdown on my experience with kisspeptin moving forward. Again, 170 micrograms twice daily, injected shallow intramuscularly. What else? All right. So Simon's got a question about TRT, how to come off after 4 months. All right. So obviously, I'm going to say, and most TRT people should say, why do you want to come off of it? I don't know what advice you've taken to dial in, whether it's Reddit testosterone or Reddit TRT or Jay Campbell or other YouTubers who have the wrong idea about TRT, especially relative to estradiol. But it is almost definitely likely, unless you've got sky-high hematocrit and that is causing you health problems, that you've got a protocol that's bad, and you can get that dialed in. That said, if you wanted to come off of TRT, honestly, the best thing for you to do would be, you could do a number of different things. Number one, you could be taking 2 KIU HCG every week while you're still on TRT, but maybe tapering the dose of testosterone down for a week or two, so there's not a dramatic drop in serum testosterone, which is going to make you feel bad, especially if your levels are pretty high as it is. Then after 2 weeks or so, remove the testosterone and ultimately stick with what will feel pretty shitty for the next 2 weeks or so. Keep the HCG, and you're just trying to kind of, get that system of intertesticular function kind of back to normal. It's just priming it so that when you remove HCG, which ultimately, a couple weeks later you should do, then the testicles are more primed to start working again thereafter. Your body's going to be screaming for the lack of testosterone, and if you're young enough, and if the pituitary functions enough, then it's going to start pumping out LH and FSH. Meantime, though, ancillaries, like people are going to tell you to go on Clomid or enclomiphene. And look, those are alternative routes as well. You just do that same thing, but just jump on Clomid or enclomiphene thereafter. But you may want to consider bringing in either Kisspeptin or Ganadoril. They're milder, but they'll jumpstart the system in more of a significant way. Via, in Kisspeptin's case, just stimulating the gonadotropin-releasing hormone neurons to stimulate GnRH, right, which is going to pump out some LH and FSH. So that's really what you're looking at. Ultimately, I mean, I think there are more advanced protocols or more popular protocols like going on other SERMs, things like tamoxifen, but frankly, I think you should just execute, what I suggested. But ultimately, you got to look at why you're wanting to come off, right? What's your protocol like? What are your bloods like? What are the reasons that you want to come off? That'd be my suggestion, man. Otherwise, good luck. I mean, if you're hell-bent on getting off, go for it and good luck. But I wouldn't suggest it. Sam, thoughts on enclomiphene versus HG monotherapy? HG monotherapy would be better in my opinion, except for the case where HCG is not fully stimulating the libido and sexual part of things, which it should. But for some guys, it doesn't, because they need the pituitary to be firing luteinizing hormone and FSH. So safety profile wise, there's no question that HCG is much safer. That's not an opinion. I mean, Clomid and enclomiphene, both, okay, in the scientific literature and in the studies, cause blood clots. There's a small percentage of people that run into that, and you'll probably be fine. But at the same time, you're going to be inhibiting estradiol or estrogen receptors in like your retinas, and it could cause vision damage, okay? At the very least, eye floaters and some temporary vision problems. So, Clomid is just something, unless you absolutely fucking need it, to stay away from, in my opinion. Like if I can't think of a situation in which I would need Clomid. If I was ever having to get off TRT or something, like I would just do something else, honestly. I'd high dose Kisspeptin or Ganadoril or something, or I would just suffer through the PCT, use nootropics for brain performance in the meantime, and some anabolic peptides, if I could, to stay anabolic as I can, and then let the natural system come back into play. But the short answer is definitely HCG. No question about it. Dr. Phil is here. Hey, Dr. Phil. How long do you think you can use expired testosterone? Yeah, this is a good one. Docs say 6 months after it expired. Should be okay to use. Other doctors say gear never expires. It's just not as potent. Yeah, I don't know the degree of potency loss that you're going to run into, but I can say for sure that testosterone vials in my cabinets that have been sitting there for a year will still work. Okay. I'll intermittently throughout various protocols just inject 60 milligrams of prop just for the fuck of it. Right. And so I've got prop from a year and 3 months ago. Still fucking works, man. Still works great. So cypionate as well, ananthate as well. So, I think look, I know from the supplement industry, being in the supplement industry, that like we've got to put the manufacturer date and then therefore the expiration dates on bottles and on supplements. But I've taken like Cortex, rather, like the old Cortex from 4 years prior, and it was still fucking great. So, you probably experience some degree of potency loss, but I don't think it'll be significant. Gear, don't know about gear. I don't have any gear other than oxandrolone. I've got oxandrolone, so not running that quite yet because I still want to give my Proviron Kisspeptin cream protocol a run, but I'll be doing an official steroid cycle when the time comes. Okay, Simon is asking, I want to come off because of hair loss and not really strong erections and libido. Okay, so your protocol is definitely not dialed in, and then hair loss, yeah, that is something that, look, with TRT is certainly possible if you got the genes for it, man. That's just the bottom line. I mean, you could look into kind of medium or high dosing TB500, which in the scientific literature shows us that it can help regrow hair and stop hair loss. There are other options too. I mean, you don't want to be taking finasteride. I've done a long, exhaustive, hour-long or so documentary on the negative side effects that real people, large numbers of real people have been reporting for many years now from that drug. You may want to look at some of the topicals that, may not fuck DHT systemically in a significant way to help you to deal with that Otherwise, ultimately, yeah, you got to make a choice, man. I mean, number one, the hair shedding that could come with TRT typically tends to regulate, so long as you don't have like the male pattern baldness genetic profile, should just start balding, right? It kind of tends to regulate. Various times in my TRT protocol, I had shedding and then it regulated, right? Especially in the beginning. But like as I went in higher doses, it would start to shed and I would notice it marginally because I've got pretty good genes in that area. And then it would just regulate and stop shedding essentially. So, you may want to consider that if you've only been on for a brief period. 4 months is not enough time. Also, erections and libido, that is a kind of an art, but mostly a science relative to blood work, estradiol being between 20 and 35, call it, total test being high enough. But also there's so many suggestions out there based on, I wouldn't really call it bro science. I think it's just a people trying to be progressive about testosterone, like injecting sub-Q every day. Well, that doesn't work for everybody. It's ideal on paper and it's ideal in a variety of ways regarding hematocrit, etc. But that don't work for everybody. You might need to be injecting 80 milligrams every 4th day or 100 every 5th day. Protocols are not applicable to everybody, right? And so, in this particular case regarding libido and erections, it's probably a lack of DHT conversion, or it's too much estradiol, or it's not enough of a bolus of testosterone at once. Considering you're having some hair loss, the DHT is probably in a reasonable range. So there's many things you can do. Switch esters. I mean, guys will be on cypionate NFA for a while, not have proper libido and erections, and switch to cream, and 3 weeks later, everything's resolved. Cream is fucking powerful for that. I mean, you're talking about 1,1300 nanograms per deciliter in 3 hours post dosing. Okay. I ran labs today, 2 hours post dosing on total testosterone with a little bit of, I'm sure some testosterone from the day prior, from the pumps of cream prior, and kind of interested to see what the hell that is. So, that'd be my suggestion, man. I mean, you could also try test prop, 12 milligrams sub-Q every day or 12 milligrams shallow intramuscular every day, and you'll probably get your libido and erections back. So yeah, look, TRT is often sold as, here, take this long ester, it works for everybody. Well, it doesn't. It doesn't work for everybody. It will work for everybody in regards to anabolism and some of the other things that testosterone has to offer, but not necessarily exclusively for the sexual system. Yeah, 50 milligrams every 4th day. Hard to say where your E is going. I mean, that might be too low of a dose. Who knows? You may need to be injecting 80 every 4th day, right? In order to properly get, especially the libido and erectile stuff. For sure on short ester, on long esters, yeah, test E. I got to inject 70, 80 milligrams at once in order to get libido and erections. If I'm injecting every day or something, I'm not getting libido and erections unless it's a very low dose shallow IM, in which case estradiol is in a reasonable place. But these bigger injections at once cause more of an androgen receptor activation and thus transcriptional activity. So you're getting more of the androgenic effects and the libido effects, as well as the DHT conversion with bolus injections. Some people, though, too, if your estradiol is not reasonably out of range, may need a tad more estradiol. There are people that I've seen that's the case, too, in order for libido to be primed. At the same time, if you're not on HCG, that could also be the reason why you're not having libido and erections on TRT. I'll tell you personally, without gonadotropin replacement, whether Kisspeptin or HCG, I don't have the best libido. It's kind of meh. It's like if I'm around a beautiful woman or a woman I'm attracted to, sure, I'll have sex with her, but I'm not thinking about it all the time. If I'm not on gonadotropin replacement while on TRT, it's a testosterone replacement therapy is not true hormone replacement therapy because you're missing some hormones. You're missing a lot of the hormones, not the least of which is DHA and pregnenolone, but also the whole microenvironment of the testicles, including 5-alpha reductase, need to be pretty functional, for the libido system to work. I'm trying to find the evidence, but I've got a reason to believe that testicles not functional, so atrophied testicles while on TRT, contributes to a lack of function of the pudendal nerve and the dorsal nerve, which leads to lack of sensation, which would align with people's experiences. So maybe you need HCG, bro. There's many things you can do to fix this situation. Good luck, though. Either way, good luck. Dar Fitness, how are things going with vitamin D supplementation? Yeah, I'm running 6,000 or 8,000 IU per day. You mentioned you were taking, no, I'm not taking 5 anymore. I'm taking 6 to 8. I forget actually. I love it. I won't not take vitamin D, just period, man. I felt a little subpar many years ago at 30 or something vitamin D, and that was like 1 point above deficient. So I'll just use it pretty consistently. I love it. I honestly think it's a great thing. You know, if you want to truly read about or learn about the benefits of vitamin D, just YouTube search Rhonda Patrick, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, and vitamin D, and she's just got fucking thousands of videos on it. Dr. Phil, can you take aromatase inhibitors sublingually? Don't know, bro. Are there any benefits of doing that? Will they act faster? Yeah, probably they will act faster. I've never tried it because they're so fucking potent orally for me, so that, you know, I just never had a need to do that. But maybe, you know, it's entirely possible and not out of the realm of, you know, plausibility here. I would not do that though if I were you. I mean, is the aromatase inhibitor that you're taking not being as effective as you need it to be? Yeah, I wouldn't take an AI sublingually, boys. I just don't think that's a good idea. What PEDs or supplements will make you last longer in bed? I think the number one way to last longer, well, there's a couple ways. You could go hypothyroid. You could reduce thyroid output, and one way you could actually do that, interestingly, contrary to what people believe, is to take large doses of iodine through various pathways. It's actually going to shut down thyroid functioning to a degree. So you could do that. You know, people that are hypothyroid have delayed ejaculation. People that are hyperthyroid have what's the opposite phrase of that? I forget, but they just very quickly ejaculate. So there's that. Secondarily, you could increase serotonin. Okay, increase serotonin with 5-HTP, maybe St. John's wort, which is like a mild reuptake inhibitor of serotonin. You could take some serotonergic compounds like SAMe. Will definitely be a serotonergic compound. And therefore, via serotonin itself and fussing with dopamine, in addition to being prolactogenic, you'll last longer. Lastly, you could, I mean, this is all a bad idea, but if your problem is significant, then maybe you want to consider this. You could low dose kratom, because low dose kratom is going to increase prolactin definitely, and that will make you last a lot longer. You just want to be careful, because you get to the point where prolactin's over range, and it's a fucking nightmare, because you will not be able to climax. And you know, you're gonna have dick problems. So that's what I would say. SNC Nutrition with a super chat. Your thoughts on oral form of TB4, right? So that's thymosin beta 4, right? Is what I gather from this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the significant difference between thymosin beta 4 and just TB500. Right? I mean, TB500 is just synthetic thymosin beta 4. So all I can tell you is I do have one client. He's a 76-year-old man that owns a multi-million-dollar company in, I think, Oklahoma that is taking thymosin beta 4. I'm not sure where he got it, but he's taking it. No noticeable effects, no noticeable differences one way or the other. He actually still complains of joint pain, but he's also 70-something. So difficult one to say. I'll tell you this, though. So I dose TB500. I think it's 100 micrograms twice weekly. And I have an injury. Well, I have kind of an ongoing pain in like the metacarpals, I think they're called, like kind of right here in between my knuckles on this hand. It's from just like kind of handling dumbbells. And that's been significantly better since I've started taking TB500. Also on the left side of my back, I just kind of have this, I don't know, it's probably just a strain in a muscle that I kind of keep fucking straining through, you know, one position that I'm doing a workout in, like one thing that I have to absolutely fucking improve in terms of my form and posture. And TB500 helped it significantly. So there's no question that TB500 is pretty powerful for repairing and healing things. Also, though, optimizes blood flow and specifically the endothelium. Okay, that's something that TB500 doesn't get promoted for, but it's actually fucking really awesome. Brother. Dude, I love it. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Dr. Phil, besides DHEA, do you know any PEDs or supplements that can boost female libido or desire? Well, it depends. I know that black cohosh will increase serum estradiol to a marginal extent in women, so that might help. Topical progesterone may also help, or topical estradiol, would help. But alternatively, PT141 will definitely help. No question, for women and libido. You know, it's not something that you can take consistently. PT 141. If you could, it'd be fucking awesome. If it was just sustainably able to produce the same result, I would take PT 141 all the time. I love how it feels. You know, I don't like the side effects initially, but I love how it feels thereafter. So that's just kind of that. Brother. Yeah, you know what, man? It's Hulk says that, dude. Hulk says it like that. I love it, dude. All right. MV is asking, would a protocol of a dopamine precursor, either NALT or I'm assuming you mean Mucuna, because L-Dopa is not something you want to take. Yeah, you don't want to take that. That'd be pharmaceutical preparation. L-Dopa is not a good thing to take unless you have Parkinson's. Dopamine expressor, choline source and a choline expressor like Nupepto or racetam be a good idea. Yeah, so basically dopaminergic and racetam would give you some mental energy as well as the processing speed and memory enhancements and sometimes verbal fluency enhancements that racetams are able to induce. Who is this handsome man? Are you a woman? Hi, sweetheart. You single? I'm just joking. Yeah, I think so about TB500. I really don't see an issue with women taking it. I'm not. We tend to think of everything like on this channel, just so you understand, like through the context of males taking stuff, but a good degree of this stuff can be applied to women, including PT141 for libido. So I think certainly, I mean, you probably want to look into whether or not there are like birth defects of it if you're, pregnant or plan to be pregnant at any time in the future, but I don't see a problem with it. If anything, it's going to make your injuries heal faster. Actually, there's a friend of mine at the gym who's a chick who has an ongoing injury that I keep telling her to try TB500. And I have some, and I'm thinking about just giving her a vial of it. So I would give it to her. So I think you're good to go. All right, Jammer with a super chat. Quantity and frequency per day. Do you take desiccated thyroid? It's just one capsule at this point of Evolve desiccated bovine thyroid. It's a company called Evolve Elements, I think that's the brand name, and you can find that literally on Amazon. It is one of the most effective energy supplements I've ever taken in my life. I just won't not take it these days. The great thing about desiccated thyroid is that it doesn't, even the right dose of synthetic thyroid doesn't stop your own thyroid hormone production, which is pretty fucking great. But yeah, honestly, I feel an energy difference. First, it was overpowering. Then it kind of turned into like strong, but not super overpowering. And then it just kind of bottomed out into like a nice even keel energy throughout the day. In addition to testosterone and everything, whatever. I'm on cream now, so that stuff within 15 minutes, bro, I'm like fucking awake. Dr. Phil, 500 milligrams of Chandra and don't feel anything. Well, you're really not looking to feel anything from Shasandra. I don't really feel a whole lot when I take Shasandra either. Maybe a little bump in erectile quality. So a gram a day is what I take though. So your mileage is going to vary. What you're really looking at doing is preventing prolactin from going out of range, and possibly lowering it a little bit. So it's been studied for that. In rats that have hyperprolactinemia, if you give them Shasandra, their prolactin goes down in range after some time. So that's really what you're looking at doing with that chemical. Yeah. There's some dopamine, there's some dopaminergic release that happens with Shasandra. I forget exactly which region or how marginal or non-marginal that is. But otherwise, that's essentially what you're looking at. Shasandra's a pretty cool chemical, man. It does a lot of really cool stuff. Like it's in my daily regimen and I don't see a reason to not have it in the daily regimen. After 9 MEBC cycle where my prolactin went down very low, and I enjoyed that. I had a great refractory period, a very short refractory period. My prolactin kind of just went back to its normal range at 12 nanograms per milliliter. And so I kind of keep taking Shasandra to keep that there, or possibly maybe lower it throughout the day. It probably lowers acutely after I take it, and then it may go back up. So yeah, Shasandra's a pretty epic compound. All right, Dr. Phil, you're welcome, bro. Glad you guys are watching the content. Those of you that didn't see the documentary on post-finasteride syndrome, look, I mean, our group of men here, our audience are men that are on androgens, right? Or fussing with, biohacking in some capacity. And so if people are come across the idea of taking finasteride because they're, experiencing hair loss, please watch that documentary, right? It's very fucking important that people do not use that drug. And some people will be fine, but other people are going to have very, very significant life-changing side effects that are not fucking fun. Cortex Stack is buy one, get one free right now. You enter Cortex BOGO, just how it sounds, Cortex BOGO. I'll type it in the chat here. All right. That's the code on the screen that you enter to get buy one, get one free of the Cortex Nootropic Stack literally right now. This thing is potent. It is a potent instant stimulant, right? And you'll notice it instantly too. Like within 15 minutes. Dynamine is a very fast onsetting compound, and so that is why it is very powerful when you take it. But there's a bunch of other goodies in there that make for a sustainably awesome, energized brain state. 7R took modafinil for 4 days, feeling unmotivated. Would Mucuna purines be enough? So you're feeling unmotivated after the use of continuous modafinil. That happens via depletion of dopamine. That's what I think anyway. And yes, Mucuna, I always tell my clients to take Mucuna either day of, later in the day, or day after modafinil so that you don't run into the post-modafinil, blues, essentially. So yeah, take Mucuna for that. Dr. Phil is saying, you always recommend 25 milligrams per Proviron a day. Is 50 too much to use with TRT? No. Crush HBG too much. You'll have to measure. What people confuse about Proviron and lowering SHBG is that, yes, it on the bloods, it will be a lower marker usually. But what it's doing is binding to the SHBG so that other androgens, specifically your free testosterone as well as DHT, don't get bound up by SHBG or don't get kind of caught in a bottleneck. And you've got more of those free hormones to use. So it's kind of a good thing. It's somewhat similar to taking boron. But also mesterolone or Proviron has a very potent affinity for the androgen receptors, like so fucking powerful, like you'll notice it instantly. And the libido and erectile benefits that you get from Proviron are second to none. I mean, you probably get them on Primo and Masteron to an extent, but Proviron is honestly the most one of the most androgenic compounds you can take. It's fucking crazy. The one thing I'm noticing a lot of things taking Proviron, but like I'm leaner. I have like abs now, and I never really had abs. I never work abs, but like there's various points depending on my calorie intake where I actually fucking have abs. Let's see if I can find a picture, but yeah, I'm generally leaner when my calorie load is under control in that regard, and I feel a lot more. There's just a masculine feel, a stoic masculine feel that comes with taking Proviron that TRT alone, even cream doesn't touch. Difference between Cortex and Cortex is fast onsetting stimulant, majorly just a stimulant. Okay, so I mean, apply that how you will. Like you'll probably be more verbally fluent. You'll be more interested in multitasking. You'll be your time on task will be better because you're focusing better because the brain's kind of just more in an energized place. But that's essentially all it's used for. It's not really a motivation nootropic stack. It's kind of just like turn the lights on. If you need the lights turned on quickly, take Cortex. Torque is all that. So you're going to turn the lights on pretty quickly, 25, 30 minutes, but also long lasting dopamine energy, right? It's like you're going to want to clean your house. You're going to want to do stuff. You're going to want to be productive. You'll feel fucking great. It's just really, really potent. You're going to notice it pretty quickly after you dose it too. So that is the deal with the difference between the stacks, and the Cortex stack is buy one, get one free. That is the code literally right now. Mitigating phenibut withdrawals. Use it a few times a month, but the withdrawal symptoms are unbearable. See, this is why I warn against that. So we've got case in point here and proof that phenibut causes withdrawal symptoms. Yeah, you're in GABA B receptor withdrawal when that happens. The only compound that I know of, like that has literature behind it, and then I've seen work in this capacity, not in this capacity, but in a capacity relative to the GABA B receptor, is fasoracetam, fasoracetam. So I'd be, in this case, I'd be running 40 to 60 milligrams of this, of fasoracetam, when you're in these withdrawals. And that'll probably kind of just bridge that gap a little bit, just kind of extend the time where you feel good, and you'll have less side effects, less withdrawal issues. And then ultimately, whenever you and you could keep taking fasoracetam really at that point. I mean, I don't know. And then eventually just taper down the fasoracetam, and you'd probably feel a lot better than just cold turkeying phenibut for a week or however long and running into these withdrawals. You know, look, vasaracetam in and of itself, while not as powerful, will give some of that kind of cool GABA B relaxation feeling. I mean, so will things like fucking valerian root, lemon balm, hops. Those three together will give you probably a comparable feel and won't be so much of a withdrawal like phenibut is. Also, Picamillin. All right, Dr. Phil, should 50 milligrams a day of Proviron be taken at once? If I was running 50, see, 25 affects me so powerfully in regards to libido, like the androgenicity part of things, that I you know, if I were to take 50, I'd take 25 in the morning and 25 in the evening. I'd probably end up getting some lethargy because like very high androgen load does that to me. And so I wouldn't personally probably dose 50 milligrams of Proviron, but I think it's not liver toxic. You know, the worst that can happen, and also it's a lot more forgiving on hematological parameters, like hematocrit. The worst that can happen with 50 milligrams Proviron, either split up or taken at once, hair loss. You know, there's no question on Proviron you're going to get a degree of shedding. I'm getting shedding now running Proviron. It's not terrible, but I can tell that it's happening, right? So again, it'll be a month or so that I run it. I just wanted to really give it a good go and kind of see maybe if there's some longer term benefits via modulation of the binding domains of the androgen receptor based on the medical literature. All right, Adam Collins' estrogen is sky high. On TRT, doctors got prescribed Aromacin, and that's the only AI you can get. What dose should I take? Yes, 6.25 milligrams every fourth or fifth day is what I would say. Terrified of crashing my estrogen. Yeah, well, if you crash it because the dose is too high, it'll take longer to rebound. However, you could always augment that with the use of high-dose human chorionic gonadotropin, or HCG, which is pretty estrogenic and will increase estradiol pretty quickly. So, you know, that's one thing you could do. And also, it's the estradiol that gets increased intratesticularly from HCG is resistant to AIs to an extent. Okay, so, you know, just have HCG on hand if you ever run into that problem. You know, look, crash estrogens are not terrible. You won't feel great. You're not going to feel like death, though. I think people tend to exaggerate those things pretty significantly. When I crashed E, yeah, you know, I just tendonitis in my elbows, neck pain, because there's a bunch of joints kind of in the back of your neck that certainly hurt to a degree. I could go throughout my day, but it was a pain in the ass. I would consider, what I had, I would consider mild depression. You know, whenever estrogen was sub 15 picograms per milliliter, mild depression, you know, and that's essentially it. I didn't have any significant other issues, but some people do, right? So, I mean, 6.25 or even split a 6.25 in half, you know, that I'd be getting a pill cutter definitely with Aromacin and just splitting it in small amounts, taking it, giving it 5-6 days, seeing how you feel, notating whether or not it's got positive effects on if you're having side effects from high estradiol, whether it's, you know, itchy nipples or excessive bloat and water retention and digestive issues thus, or it's a lack of libido, erectile quality, or the inability to climax. I mean, those are the kind of things that high estrogen can cause. But I think you're going to be fine. Just start low and be careful and monitor how you feel. You know, after 5-6 days of taking it, and you know, and you feel the same, and maybe don't take more. You know, just give it some time for your body to adjust to those lower estradiol levels. Other questions here. Okay, Dr. Phil, how long should you run 50 to 100 milligrams modafinil a day without depleting dopamine? I mean, 50 to 100 is not terrible, so I don't really think you're going to be depleting dopamine to some significant degree. In that case, people take 50 to 100 milligrams modafinil all the time. It's prescribed for narcolepsy, right? So I think you're going to be fine. It's person dependent. If you recognize that you're needing to, like, you're having like the blues, you just kind of feel after dosing modafinil that you have a lack of motivation, you just feel kind of downtrodden, then maybe dose mecunapurines at that point. But a maintenance dose of like 200 to 300 milligrams of mecunapurines while you're taking modafinil might be useful in this case, and probably will stave off any symptoms of a reduction, a brain reduction in dopamine, which, maybe there's a threshold. It's like if you stick to 75 milligrams, which is like my dose of modafinil, then you're probably not going to have significant depletion. Like you got to find the dose where, correspondingly you build enough dopamine where it doesn't deplete it enough and your brain can kind of keep up with it. All right, guys, if you got other questions, ask them in the chat. In the meantime, again, Cortex Stack is buy one, get one free. Code is on the screen, okay? Have a look. This thing is very powerful. It's instant, too. I mean, 15 minutes for some guys, 10 minutes for some guys. I gave it to a chick friend of mine, and after 5 minutes, she's like, dude, I already noticed this thing. I built it myself. It's very, very strong. It will turn on quickly, and it will do all of these things for you. It is buy one, get one free, because I've got to move a certain amount of bottles of this right now. So my loss is your gain. We're doing it cheaper. Buy one, get one free. Code is on the screen of the Cortex Nootropic Stack. All right. Thoughts on saffron? I think it's pretty epic. I think, people think it's serotonergic mainly, but what I found with saffron is that it is more of a potent antioxidant, right? It's more of a reduction in inflammatory cytokines that travel to the brain and cause brain fog than anything else. I mean, I think there's a mild serotonergic mechanism, but I don't think it's that significant. So yeah, I think it's a pretty epic compound. I knew a guy years ago that had a saffron business. He was from Iran and he had a connection in Iran, obviously, from where he was from, where he had like good quality fucking saffron. I mean, it's an antidepressant, dude. It's very, very powerful stuff. I think it's awesome. Relative to modafinil, 200 milligram dose made a person depressed. Yeah, again, you're going to be mildly depleting dopamine in the acute period. And the higher you go on dose of modafinil, the more dopamine depletion or acute dopamine depletion you're going to experience. Any reuptake inhibitor of anything, okay? This is why SSRIs actually cause serotonin depletion. People don't think that or know that, but yeah, the RAF nuclei, which is where serotonin gets projected, fucking downregulates in the presence of like sertraline, citalopram, other SSRIs. So we shouldn't think that doesn't happen with dopamine relative to dopamine reuptake inhibitors, because it does. You can stack torque with Cortex. Just be careful, because it might be overpowering. Raising SHBG, might want to go to frequent injections, but that might be terrible for your libido. If you're on TRT, other ways to raise that HBG. That's a hard one, man. I don't think I have like any strategies for that. I've never had to do that before, so like, I don't look at single digit as long as it's like 9 or 10 SHBG as a problem. It's really never been. I mean, in my experience, I see a lot of people talking about it on the web, but I've never seen that be an issue. Yeah, I'm sure there's other compounds that you can take to raise SHBG, but off the top of my head, I don't know. Saffron extract dose, would you recommend? Don't know any off the top of my head. Love your content, bro. Awesome. Yes, glad you watched the documentary. Yeah, don't know. I don't, man, if I could find the guy that I used to know that got saffron from fucking Iran, then that would be the connect. Let me see if you can find Iranian saffron. I mean, that stuff just tends to be more potent and better. That guy had a big boom in business because of the potency of his saffron. So if you could get saffron from Iran, then, my brother, you would be in an epic position, I think. Just lost my chat. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. Any recommendations for Nocturia? So that's just frequent urination at night. Why? What are your hormone levels? Because significantly reduced estradiol will cause that. There's a number of things that can cause you to excessively urinate. One is crashed estrogen will make you pee out more than you even fucking drink. It's like your body will kill you. It won't, but it's trying to. When you've got like sub 5 or sub 10, call it, picograms per milliliter of estradiol, then you're going to be pissing out all of your water. And that is via a reduction in arginine vasopressin. So, I don't know what your estrogen levels are, but that could be one of the cause. One of the secondary causes of nocturia or frequent urination during the day or at any time is high blood sugar. Yeah, because your body's going to want to reduce that sugar load, and it's going to do it via urinating out as much sugar as possible. So what is your glucose, man? You might want to look at that. If that is a problem, then that's the cause of it. If estradiol is in range, where in the range is it? Would be my question. But also, is your blood sugar too high? That's one major reason that happens. Alternatively, though, I mean, are you consuming diuretics? That would be a prime driver of nocturia or frequent urination at nighttime. I mean, alcohol fucking will do it. Alcohol is a very potent diuretic. So is caffeine past a certain threshold. So I think you got to look at whether or not you're doing that, or if any of the things you're taking are diuretics. Some supplements have diuretic actions. I forget off the top of my head which ones. God, recently I learned something had a diuretic action. I forget what it was though. Don't know. But ultimately, if none of those things are the problem, then you might want to consider looking at, you should run either copeptin, which is a measure of your antidiuretic hormone, or if you can actually get vasopressin, arginine vasopressin tested, or ADH. Yeah. You want to look at your antidiuretic hormone and see if that's low. If it's low, that's your problem. Definitely. That is definitely your problem if it's low. All right, boys. Any other questions here? Yeah, so supplements for prostate health, hard one, probably Cialis would be the best one, honestly. Yeah, I mean, you start taking saw palmetto and you're inhibiting DHT, systemically, and that's just a problem. That's going to become a problem for sexual function. You're going to inhibit some pretty critical metabolites that you need for GABA A receptor function in the brain with DHT inhibition. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that long term. Estradiol was 25, glucose was 87. So yeah, that's fine, and no booze. That's a hard one, man. I mean, what is your water intake? Do you have psychogenic polydipsia, which is where you think you need to drink large quantities of water, but you really don't. I had that when I was younger, after the military, and when I was a runner for many years. I am still. I just started running again. And, like when you work yourself pretty aggressively, you tend to think that when you're feeling a little tired from it, that water will help, or that you need more water, but it's not water that you need. It is relaxing, maybe taking a nap, it's food and whatever. So you might have psychogenic polydipsia. That's a fucking condition where, because we're being told 8 ounces of water a day, 8 ounce glasses, 8-ounce glasses, like some substantial amount of water is like the recommendation. It's way too fucking much water, dude. I don't drink nearly that much water. If I go past a certain threshold, I'll retain most of it, right? Because my estradiol is not bottomed out. My test is high, which also increases arginine vasopressin, or antidiuretic hormone. But I'll be peeing a lot more for sure, and at nighttime. Okay. How to help with modafinil headache? Maybe take an antihistamine. Any nootropics for a music festival? Or feeling good and awake? Well, what would I take at a music festival? Honestly, I'd probably be dosing aniracetam and ashwagandha, because that makes me creative and want to meditate. So like that would be the probably the best fitting combination of stuff to take. Yeah, aniracetam, ashwagandha. Like you'll have some good brain function while you have that kind of cortisol lowering adaptogenic relaxation feeling going on. Yeah, that's what I would do. Otherwise, I mean, for good brain performance, you could run modafinil. You could run 9-MeBC. Actually, if you ran 9-MeBC, that would be pretty cool, because 9-MeBC makes you really interested in shit, really interested in stuff. So that might be something to run. All right, D3 is increased appetite on TRT. Is mine's been crazy on 200 milligrams. Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah, well, and through various points. Let's see. I remember. I'll tell you what. Yeah, when I first got on TRT, maybe about a month in, I found myself fucking craving sweets a lot, and that was estradiol. In the beginning, I wasn't managing it very well. Otherwise, though, look, I mean, your muscle protein synthesis is upregulating. Your body is growing. You're kind of going through somewhat of a second puberty, if you will. And so there's a lot of processes that, you know, your body might recognize we need calories for. And so in that regard, you know, you're going to be hungry. Does it go away? Absolutely. You know, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't have that to the degree that I had it earlier, or to any strong degree, unless I am in a calorie deficit for many days in a row, at which point I'm going to need to fucking go on a cheat day or something. So yeah, I think that's, I mean, if you're new to TRT, then that's just something that's going to pass, and it happens when you're new. Over time though, you know, that reduces, that completely reduces. Now, if you start getting to an ancillary compounds like, you know, growth hormone secretagogues, well, then you're going to be really fucking hungry, right? Via their interaction with ghrelin and shit. So, you know, that might be something to consider. One of the things I recently learned about kisspeptin, you know, the peptide that I'm taking for gonadotropin release in the brain, is that it's an appetite suppressant via erexogenic mechanisms, which is, you know, one of the same systems that modafinil works on, which would make sense. I'm actually very energized on kisspeptin too. So who knows? But yeah, I mean, that's likely going to go away. You are welcome, brother. Any other questions, guys? If you got them, ask them. Post them in the chat. Meantime, Cortex Stack, buy one, get one free right now. This won't last much longer, guys. That's the code on the screen. Have a look. I've got about 200 more bottles to move at buy one, get one free right now of the Cortex Nootropic Stack. All right. If you guys got questions, post them. Hope you're doing great. Don't know what you're doing today. It's Saturday. I didn't even know it was Saturday when I woke up. I was like, oh, fuck, it's the weekend. Holy shit. I've been traveling. Last week I went to basically Lehigh Valley, Philadelphia area to hang out, see an old friend. And I just needed a break also. I got an Airbnb in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, overlooking this lake and with a hot tub. And we just kind of chilled, me and an old friend. And it was really great just to kind of get away and do nothing. So this weekend, I don't have plans. Who knows? Maybe dinner later, maybe not. Running. I'm back to running. I don't know if some of you are runners here, but I ran for many years back in the day and then stopped running and haven't really been running for about 5-6 years. And now I'm running again and it feels fucking phenomenal. Now it's 100 degrees outside lately because there's a heat wave on the west side of Pennsylvania and elsewhere lately. So that doesn't feel great, but I'm really enjoying both the cardiovascular benefits as well as the neurological brain performance benefits. I'm only running 2-3 miles a day. I'm just going out, parking downtown in Pittsburgh and running in the city and then coming back home. And it's awesome. It's honestly just enough. I don't need to fucking run 7-8 miles like I did back in the day. I don't need to do that. And honestly, I feel really great. Guys, my throat is like super dry. So I'm going to go grab like water. I'll be right back. Hang tight. All right. So I've got a Coke. That's like the first thing I could grab. Okay. What dose of Proviron can replace the use of 25 milligrams of aromatase? See, that's a hard one because the conversion, nobody really knows, right? We know that Proviron will occupy the aromatase enzyme to an extent, but we just don't know what extent, right? I can tell you that, like, you know, on 2 pumps of cream, which takes my test very fucking high. I'm going to figure out Monday or sometime this weekend because I've got labs on that. I don't need an AI, that's for sure. So it's probably keeping it in a relatively reasonable range. But, you know, for you, I don't know. You're on, Yeah, I mean, are you on testosterone? And if so, what dose? What dose? Then I could probably tell you. But 25 of Proviron is pretty good at inhibiting aromatase to a degree. You know, it's not very powerful, guys. You know, it's nowhere near as strong as Arimidex or Aromacin. So, oh yeah, Coke is amazing. I drink like one of these a day. Everything in moderation. This is a mini one, 80 calories, but gives you a good amount of caffeine, which I really appreciate. Oh, back to caffeine, by the way. Yeah, just a Coke a day, Coke every other day, something like that. All right. What's the best way to reduce or eliminate fatigue from racetams besides phenylpiracetam? If you're getting fatigue from racetam, something's wrong. Yeah, something's wrong. You shouldn't be getting that. Yeah. I mean, it's just probably making you fire too much choline, and that's a side effect of, racetams or having too much brain acetylcholine firing. So that could be the issue. In which case I would just back off or lower the dose substantially. All right, Toric and Cortex with modafinil, certainly. Yeah, again, they stack with everything. Both of them stack with pretty much every stimulant nootropic, but you just got to be careful of the stimulation. It might keep you up at night, I personally have taken Toric with modafinil. Have I taken Cortex with modafinil? I don't think so. I don't really feel the need to do that. Right, but yes, Toric with modafinil is very strong. You'll be very fucking productive, and you might not even feel good. I built these stacks. I mean, both these stacks, by the way, are built to be taken singularly. You can take them together if you want to, but they're so strong that you can just take them singularly. 2 capsules and you're on your way, and you're gonna feel great. Dr. Phil is on 500 milligrams test a week, 3,000 IUs HCG. Okay, so you're on steroid cycle basically of 500 milligrams. Great. Hope you're doing your bloods. I'd call that a mini cycle, really. But there you'd probably be looking at 50 milligrams per Proviron to control the estradiol, and still even it might not control it to a significant extent. A lot of DHT's effect, which Proviron is like synthetic DHT, basically methylated DHT, is on estradiol is post estrogen receptor binding. It just inhibits a little bit of that transcriptional activity after estrogen binds to the receptor, and so the serum estradiol may still be elevated, but you're almost like you're just kind of stopping the effect, right? You're just kind of getting in the middle and sort of ceasing that effect, that pulse right at the end there. And so 50 milligrams would be good for estrogen control, but I don't know the extent that that's going to change the serum significantly when you're on 500 milligrams of testosterone. You're welcome, brother. Any other questions, guys? Hope you're doing great. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Saturday, boys. Hope you guys got like plans to do something cool. I'll probably take actually, I'm probably going to go to North Park, which is this park here in Pittsburgh that has a big lake you can kayak on and a large running path where everybody from the Pittsburgh area goes there when it's spring and summer and runs and walks. So I'm going to go there early because it's going to be 100 degrees, I'm sure, today. And that is what I'm doing today. And I might do a movie day. I don't know. I've also really been playing a lot of fucking Warzone lately because, I like it. So maybe that. Also 25 of DHA. You got a pretty epic protocol, man. But yeah, I mean, on 500, listen, on 500 milligrams testosterone a week, you're going to want estrogen control. You're just going to want it. You're going to want estrogen control. I mean, I would not be able to tolerate that at all. Yeah, especially with HCG. I mean, you got aromatase in the testicles from HCG, and so that is definitely going to make you aromatized. Thoughts on Viagra plus Cialis used together? What doses? Yeah, people do it, so you don't have a heart attack. Yeah, I mean, 20 milligrams Viagra or sildenafil with like 10 to 15 milligrams Cialis would be fine, I think, for most people. But, if you're one of those people that your blood pressure tends to drop low, or your blood pressure runs low generally, then you probably would just want to really fucking start a lower doses together, run your blood pressure with a cuff, see if it's okay, and then proceed forward from there. Kind of just titrate upwards if you have to. But yeah, I mean, it's prescribed in combination to certain people, right? There's like certain compounding pharmacies and companies that prescribe both Viagra and Cialis to people. And so, I mean, I don't know. Might be all right. I think if you just back to back are taking Viagra, that's when, you could have a Dan Bilzerian heart attack, because Dan Bilzerian had a heart attack on Viagra, by the way, fucking years ago. So might be something to consider, brother. D-Tree, is it reasonable to expect less aromatization on the same test dose over time? On 200 to 220 and used to need AI first 3 months, but no more. It's reasonable to expect that your estrogen receptors downregulate, or your body gets used to that amount of estrogen and it stops freaking out. It's reasonable to suspect that could happen. But it's not reasonable to expect that less aromatization will happen over time unless you remove things from your regimen that are causing aromatization, like alcohol, and you reduce some body fat. How successful is your company doing? Well, I've got two companies, this company and a web design company here in Pittsburgh. Honestly, the web design company is fucking crazy successful. I just launched it in December of 23. No, November 23. Got a client right away. Got significant more clients over that. I mean, we've done over 100K in revenue in less than 8 months. So think about it. I mean, that's just one company. Cortex Labs has always done significant, many hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in revenue for many, many years now. And, it's year by year, it grows, just not significantly. And it's a very comfortable, very cool business. And the greatest part about Cortex Labs, at least the product side, is that it's being built in a manufacturing facility in New York, and then all the product gets shipped to a shipping place that does exclusively shipping for e-commerce companies in Georgia. I have like many different facilities, and so I don't hands-on product anymore. I used to. In the very beginning, I had to hire a guy and do shipping, but not anymore. So largely the company, aside from administrative stuff and answering emails and dealing with consultations and coaching, the company's largely hands off. Like a lot of it's just fully automated. So very good in that regard. And so that frees up a lot of my time to do live streams, among other things, but also to make money in other areas, right? To focus on my other company, which, throughout the course of a 5-day work week, I'm building websites for people, for companies. It's really fun. I love doing it. And I've wanted to start a web company for a while. I just got to get some developers on board, and so I can kind of step back from it. But very successful, man. I've been successful monetarily since I was 20. Yeah, I joined the army and was successful enough. I saved a good degree of money in Iraq. Thereafter, I failed starting companies, so I ran out of money. But then I want to say about 3 years after I became an entrepreneur, starting companies, I succeeded with an iPhone and iPad repair company, which ultimately was local in this store. But then I took national, doing like iPad repair for schools that had 1,000 iPads that their kids broke. So we just get a lot of business. So I know how to be successful, and I knew, look, some people spend their time going to work, coming home, maybe doing some fun stuff. In my early 20s, after the military, I spent my fucking time trying to figure out how to be successful, right? Trying to figure out how to make money, but also like learning learning SEO, learning marketing in general. I did sales prior to the military, so I was already good at that. And so it's more important than people think, man. It's more important than people think. So much of your stress in life will be markedly reduced if you have more money. That's just the bottom line. And if you think you don't need money, you either have an ideological barrier preventing you from thinking you need money, or I don't know, or you don't recognize what country we're living in. I mean, look at the prices of shit right now, dude. And everybody wants your money, your rent, your mortgage, your car, this breaks, that breaks. You got the heater issue, you got that, food, your insurance every month, over and over and over and over again. Where does your money go, right? Look at your paycheck, see it goes. Everyone wants your money. You need to make a good degree of money if you're really going to be comfortable in this country. And by a good degree of money, netting minimally 100K a year. That's netting, all right? Post-tax. That's what you want to be, that's the only way that you can be pretty comfortable. As long as you don't scale your lifestyle significantly with that, to the point where you're broke again, then you're going to be in a much more comfortable position. But yeah, money's more important than people think, you know. And I'm not like a greedy rich person or something. Like, I think those people are equally cringe, driving around in BMWs, but they don't use their signal. I have a BMW. I use my signal every fucking time. I'm a good driver. You know, I think those people come from corporate where everyone's an asshole to everyone, and they've not really built their own thing. So they think they've made it, and they have. They're making 100K, 200K, whatever, but they work for somebody. Anyway, that was a rant. What is the best supplement for anxiety? L-theanine, not effective. Saffron calms me down, but anxiety remains. Probably Picamillin. Yeah, Picamillin. Just try it. I mean, that's a GABA builder that is almost definitely going to work, right? Crosses right into the blood-brain barrier and gives you brain-available GABA. Yeah, there's not many compounds that are as effective for giving you brain-available GABA as Picamillin. How did you feel in Adderall? I only took Adderall like 3 times in my lifetime. Yeah, I felt pretty fucking energized, man. I mean, I would say this. I felt not like myself. Last time I took Adderall was like 6 years ago. And then years prior to that, and then, you know, yeah, that was like those other times were kind of around the beginning of, well, just before Cortex Labs started. But a lot of brain energy, a lot of dopamine-like energy. My libido would crash when I took it, which was interesting. But I kind of think I understand why. And then also, I don't know, I mean, toward the end of the day, I sort of feel a little anhedonic. That's why I don't take it, man. And there's plenty of other compounds that are much better than Adderall for brain performance that don't make you feel anhedonic when you're coming off of it. So, yeah, I also, though, deal with a lot of people that took Adderall for a long time and have anhedonia now, or they have sexual dysfunction now, and they feel generally shitty now, and they're not productive now. So, yeah, Adderall's not. It's just a terrible drug, in my opinion. You know, just side effects upon side effects upon side effects upon side effects. Some of them are last a while, like, you know, for if you don't treat it years after you stop taking it. Opinion on sleeping patches? What do they have in them? I mean, if I would maybe throw on some valerian root patches. I'm so like, I don't know. I run now. I'm running again, and I'm working out in the morning doing weights, and you know, my diet's pretty on point. I'm working, doing business stuff all day. So by the time I go to sleep, I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready. I am fucking ready. You know, throw on some Alex Jones or there's a guy on YouTube named John Moyer who my ex-girlfriend Erin turned me on to. We would like watch this guy before we went to bed. We'd just like turn it on as we're falling asleep. And he's got the most gentle, soothing, awesome, epic voice, and he does these sleep meditations. So I'll turn that on usually, and then I'm out. But sometimes if I'm not ready to go to sleep, I'll just watch my favorite Warzone streamer until my eyes can't stay open, and then I'm just like ready to go. Ready to go, brother. Haha, brother. Guys, Cortex Stack is buy one, get one free right now. I will enter the code in the chat. That's the code right there. Okay. Instant stimulation, boys. One of the most powerful nootropic stacks that you're ever going to get your hands on. I've got to move some bottles. I got the tap on the shoulder, and guess what? My loss right now is your gain. Buy one, get one free. Code is on the screen. Gentle brothers. All right. Cabergoline versus bromocriptine. Well, CAB is certainly more effective. No question about that. There was a distinction here. Well, I mean, look, bromocriptine you got to take throughout the day if you really want to get a marked prolactin reduction effect, if you've got hyperprolactinemia or really, really elevated prolactin. And so you'd be needing to take, I think they come in 2.5 milligram tablets. You know, you'd be needing to take 2.5 in the morning and then 2.5 at like 5, 6 p.m., maybe 2.5 at 9 p.m. You know, if you want that powerful, consistent prolactin reduction effect, you're not going to be able to do that with just like one dose of bromo, unless your prolactin's not very high and there's not something crazy causing it, like a prolactinoma. Bromocriptine, yeah, so it's got to be dosed daily throughout the day. Very short half-life. However, also in the literature, though, less effective than cabergoline, and that's because it's just got less of a long term affinity for the dopamine D2 receptors compared to cabergoline, which sits at them for like 67 hours or something. It's a very, very long half-life drug, cabergoline. So CAB also, more powerfully than bromocriptine, can restore sexual function when you've got sexual dysfunction from hyperprolactinemia. This is all in the medical literature. So I think it's got, you know, an advantage there over bromocriptine. I think both in cumulative doses. So the literature on this is actually super clear. Cumulative doses with CAB, it's like 200 or 300 milligrams, and with bromo, I don't know the dose. Then you've got heart chamber issues that could potentially happen in a small subset of individuals. More likely to happen on cabergoline, but again, you got to be taking it for 5 fucking years, I figured out, in order for that to happen. So, you know, they both have these negative effects on a cumulative long-term dose. You just kind of got to be careful regarding that. But, you know, if you're running steroids or whatever and you're wanting to take CAB or bromo to reduce prolactin, you couldn't possibly take enough of that stuff over time to, you know, to run into that problem where you have heart chamber issues. Is pramipexole better? No. I think cabergoline is CAB is it's the gold standard for treating prolactinomas, for reducing prolactin in other states of hyperprolactinemia. I just think it, you know, I've looked at the literature on every single one of these compounds, half-lives, anecdotals, you know, agonist affinity, side effect profile, success in clinical literature and clinical cases. Cabergoline wins every time. Every time. Any other questions, guys? If you got them, post them. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you have a great weekend. There's nothing like a Coke, man. Holy fuck. I love these goddamn things. So these are the micro cans. It's 90 calories. I don't know how many milligrams of caffeine is in here. I wonder if it says it. I would love to know. I don't think I see it. I don't think I see it. Nope. Refreshing. It's the first thing I could grab. All right, boys. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good on 2 pumps of cream, 200 milligrams per milliliter, both in the morning, extra scrotally. 170 micrograms kisspeptin in the morning, 170 in the evening-ish, 5 p.m. or so. That's shallow IM. And 25 milligrams Proviron a day. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably equally a little. I would say I feel like I'm a little more anabolic than I was on just NF8, testosterone, NF8 at a pretty low dose and some HCG. Definitely, I am. I feel stronger in the gym. You know, that's likely the test being higher. But to an extent, DHT, I wouldn't call it anabolic, but it's supportive of muscle building, right? And muscle retention as well. So I feel pretty physically fucking good on 2 pumps of test cream and kisspeptin and stuff. The interesting thing about kisspeptin is, like, you know, I'm the one that tries stuff like that. People have been discussing that, you know, in Germany, especially in the UK, people are really ranting about kisspeptin. A lot of medical doctors are using it. So I'm the guy that tries stuff just to see, right, to report on it and whatever. In the beginning, substantial libido benefit, that kind of tapered off. But what I've been noticing is more rock hard erections randomly, just like fucking ragers out of nowhere. Last night I counted and timed it for 10 minutes. Like, just hanging out on my bed after the day was done, I just had an erection out of nowhere. And it lasted 10 fucking minutes, probably longer. I just kind of stopped paying attention to it after 10 minutes. But, you know, that happens on TRT regularly, you know, but not for 10 minutes randomly, like, and throughout the day. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonadotropins, right? Because I didn't test LH FSH too early, or what. I mean, kisspeptin also facilitates the secretion of growth hormone. This is something no one knew. I figured that out in the literature. You know, it's very, very influential on the brain side of sexual arousal. Kisspeptin's a powerful fucking compound, man. Testicles haven't atrophied since I've been off HCG, but I can tell that there's a little less of that full feeling. So I don't think it's as effective for the testicles as HCG, but I'm also, you know, maybe on too low of a dose. Who knows? You know, I got to give it time. I got to give it time. YouTube, how much money do I make per month for YouTube? YouTube alone, that'd be strictly ads. It's not much. It's like maybe $500-600. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I don't like to insert ads in the middle of videos, so that's one reason I could be making more money. I don't like to insert lots of ads in videos, and there's some videos I like, like the documentary. I don't know if there's ads on that documentary, but there's some I just don't want to put ads on, so now, like if you were, let's see, who well, I don't know, pick any YouTuber that like, okay, so I know a guy named How to Beast, David something or other, How to Beast, and he's got, I think, 1 point something million, maybe 2 million subscribers, and each one of his videos get about 50K views. That guy's probably pulling between $10,000 and $20,000 a month just from YouTube ads. You know what I mean? So it really all depends on the views, man. It's a good way to make money if you're in the 500K plus subscriber, arena. All right, effective dose for 9-MeBC, and can you take it subliminally? No, don't do that. Yeah, it's caustic. It'll probably burn. But yeah, and people on Reddit's the worst. It's a great place to get information sometimes, but also it is a great place for people to postulate theories that are incorrect and therefore make recommendations that'll hurt you. Okay, don't fucking dose the shit sublingually, dose it orally. It's very effective orally. Misterolone has a very small, like Proviron has a very small oral bioavailability, but it's so effective at what it does that you only need to take 25 milligrams of it, or even 12.5. So 9-MeBC is just like that. This is too general of a question, but motivation, you want to target dopamine, and you would use modafinil for that. All right. Vigilia. When using 210 tests a week split into daily sub-Q, ET was around 50. Otherwise, I felt great. Low dose or add an AI. Lower dose or add an AI. Okay, well, I mean, if you feel fine, keep it there. Honestly, who am I to tell you? It's just the reason that people get in, people like me and many others out there will suggest getting estradiol between 20 and 30, including TRT doctors, like real ones, not your doc that you might get it from, like world-renowned TRT doctors, is because it interferes with erectile quality and libido past a certain threshold, right? And can cause all the side effects we know that it can cause if it's too elevated. But if you're sitting at, like I've been at 50 before, I was on, 180 milligrams of test a week and a lot of HCG, and my estradiol was 55. I wanted to see what I felt like, and I fucking definitely didn't, the sexual system performed very poorly at 50, right? So at 55. So if you feel great though, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't get the itch to do something like us biohackers do. We'll just change some shit. You might just be fine keeping it where it is. If you feel fine, I would honestly keep it right there. I don't see that you're taking HCG if you are or aren't. But on 210, I was at 35 with no HCG. So maybe you're over aromatizing. Just something to think about. Current kisspeptin protocol, 170 micrograms twice daily. In the morning, shallow IM, and at like between 4 and 5:30 p.m. Somewhere around that time, shallow IM, 170 micrograms. Telling you. Oh, in addition to more frequent erections that I'm noticing with kisspeptin, I also have, I'm fucking super girthy. I know that's TMI, but like, that's a weird one. Like, what the fuck's going on there? Like, is there something about your inherent gonadotropins that facilitates better erectile quality via what? I really got to look into it. I just haven't had the time to really sit down and figure that out. But, your own inane gonadotropins are different than just injecting HCG. So, and HCG is estrogenic. And so, kisspeptin might be a good option there for some people. Again, there are negatives to kisspeptin. One of the things I've been experiencing at nighttime to a degree is I'll have maybe a 10-20 minute bout of a little bit of anxiety, which is something that no question is that. I mean, there's nothing else in my regimen that is different or new or that I haven't taken before. And so there's that, and also secretes growth hormone. So that's a positive. So it's a really fucking interesting compound, but the erections and the girth, it's really weird, man. I got to find out what the mechanism is, but no question, kisspeptin is very fucking effective for me so far. I've got to see, how much it's actually moving the needle on luteinizing hormone, because I don't know. I'll run those labs this coming week, I assume. Oh man, I needed that Coke, dude. My throat was like super dry. All right, is Fedosia good for boosting DHT or is it Tonga Elite better? I don't think either of them are going to significantly boost DHT. Fedosia will, well, I should say Fedosia will, but to a marginal extent, like, because you're going to increase testosterone via more luteinizing hormone synthesis from taking Fedosia. Yeah. But I've not seen Tonga be very effective. Tonga and Fedosia together, though, that seems to be effective for people. Taurine and Sustanch increases girth. Interesting. Yeah, Taurine. Yeah, Sustanch should. I mean, the rat studies, like, there's like some marked increase in total testosterone from rats taking Sustanch, so that would make sense. Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't have like primary or secondary hypogonadism, then, you know, Sustanch is going to be pretty effective for people. And as long as everything else is good in your regimen, then, you know, that's a pretty effective compound. Yeah, I used to take it back in the day. Before I got on TRT, like just for testosterone maintenance, I would take Sustanch, and it was pretty effective. Pretty effective. I felt stronger in the gym, sex drive was better, all that stuff. But I was also running a lot of other things too, you know, with Sustanch. I think, you know, one of the major fallacies of the web, specifically around biohacking, is that like singular compounds are effective. When it comes to just supplements, you really got to be stacking. This with that and that with this, vitamin D, Fedosia possibly, pine pollen, fenugreek, lots of other compounds, androgen receptor modulation with L-carnitine L-tartrate to really get a good androgen-centered supplement protocol. It's got to just be a bunch of things stacked together. In my experience, eat more eggs with Sustanch. I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe it'd be good. It would be good. Eggs are good. I eat eggs. But yeah, I mean, it might be good for facilitating more choline, more folate, a little more cholesterol to synthesize ultimately more testosterone. Yes, that is a good thing. I don't know if it can lower total cholesterol. Which cholesterol, though, are we looking at? I don't know, brother. Any other questions, guys? If you got them, ask them. Post them in the chat. Get them answered. Meantime, Cortex Stack, buy one, get one free. All right. This is, we run this, well, for this particular stack, we don't run it often. Okay. This stack is a potent instant stimulant. I mean, the moment you take it, like sometimes for, dude, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you're going to be like, what the fuck? I'm like very awake. I feel very good. I kind of want to do stuff. Buy one, get one free literally right now. This ends this coming weekend at the end of the, well, it's this weekend. This is going to end really soon. So if you haven't gotten a bottle for free, do it now, brothers. Code is on the screen. And links and code is in the description of this video. Like the video, y'all. Boom, 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 boom. All right, am I ever going to run HGH? I don't know. You know, I've got like, you know, I'll start very small with secretagogues. You know, I've got some ipamorelin and I'll get some CJC probably soon. You know, the thing about some of the growth hormone secretagogues is the prolactin increases, which I don't fucking want. So there's that. But I mean, for anabolism, I could always increase testosterone, my testosterone dose, and that will give me plenty of anabolism. I mean, 5 pumps of cream, which I ran at some point, it was a little overstimulating, actually a lot overstimulating. That there was fucking insane for anabolism. Just 5 pumps of cream was insane for anabolism. You know, high dose, well, somewhat high dose prop, like 30, 40 milligrams a day. It's pretty epic for anabolism. Any long ester above 150 milligrams is very fucking great for anabolism for me personally. You know, yeah. I've got relatively good genetics as long as testosterone is high in that regard. You know, I'm only on 2 pumps of cream. It's not a lot. We'll see where ultimately the test goes. I'm sure it's high, but I mean, I'm not pushing 1500 or anything, but, also though, you know, longer esters are more anabolic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So no, right now taking Kisspeptin does facilitate some growth hormone release. So, you know, I probably should get that tested just so I can see in time how much growth hormone that's releasing. But I don't anticipate going on HGH. No, I really just don't anticipate doing that because I don't want to start fucking with having to run insulin and all this shit. No way. Not something I would do. Personally. I would high dose secretagogues before I would ever consider going on HGH, and I don't really need to. Like, I'm not looking to be gigantic. You know, my physique, you know, like I'm 5'10", I'm in good shape. Like, I have a good physique. I don't want to be super jacked, you know. I don't know if it would even look good on my frame. D-Tree, do you think running tests at slightly higher doses, 220 to 250 in your 40, 50, and 60 is safe, provided BP and lipids are controlled? Yes, I do, provided that stuff is happening, and provided that it doesn't have a vasoconstrictive effect on the brain, because that can happen too, and provided that you don't have any major side effects and estradiol is controlled, provided that prolactin isn't out of range, provided that liver enzymes are not elevated from it, because testosterone past a certain range can also elevate liver enzymes. So, you know, listen, just yesterday, like on a Facebook group I'm attached to, it's like called, what is it called? It's called like bodybuilding or body something or other, like for healthy older men. And there's a dude that just posted, he's 65 or 67, like pretty fucking old. He'll be 70, you know, before 2030. He'll be 70 years old and probably earlier than that. And this dude looks fucking he's obviously on steroids. He's on it's not just testosterone, right? He's running Anavar or something with testosterone. And, you know, or fucking D-ball or whatever. The guy's probably running, you know, different steroids. He looks jacked. He's like as jacked as Mike O'Hearn or something. It's fucking insane. And lean as fuck. So, I mean, is that guy's heart going to explode tomorrow? Maybe. Maybe. But, you know, who knows? There's also Mike O'Hearn. You know, Mike O'Hearn is what, 50 something now? I mean, look at him, dude. He's obviously on gear, consistently on gear. Maybe takes a little bit of time off and runs tests, but that dude's been on gear forever. You know, and so he's old. Is he dead? Who knows? You know, Sylvester Stallone, right? Been on gear for years on and off. Right now, probably not, but, you know, he looks all right. Arnold was on gear for a long fucking time, you know? And, you know, probably was more conservative in his later years, but, you know, guys 67 years old, however old these guys are, and they seem to be fine. So I think if you're managing your bloods, blood pressure, especially lipids, cardiovascular markers, otherwise, maybe do some actual scans, you know, of the heart so that you can rule out, get a calcium score, like do all that kind of advanced, you know, cardiac diagnostic stuff. And so you can see if, you know, anything negative is going on. And if it isn't, certainly, you know, anabolic steroids and testosterone period, or testosterone derivatives, which all of them ultimately are, you know, there's a lot of fucking health benefits to them. There's a lot of benefits. I've only gotten healthier since I've been on TRT, no question. I've only gotten healthier. Now, I don't push the limits. I've never been on a steroid cycle of test. You know, I'll be running Anavar at like 10 milligrams a day, probably next month after Proviron's done. But, you know, nothing crazy. Best dose of cabergoline and how long to take it without affecting the heart. Yeah, well, depends on your condition. If you don't have hyperprolactinemia, if you don't have a prolactinoma, which I don't assume you do, then 0.25 once or twice a week, you know, is enough. It's completely enough to lower prolactin pretty substantially. Regarding the chamber problems, that's the cumulative dose of 200 plus milligrams. Might have been 250, might have been 300, I forget. But that's in the medical journal, so you got to go look at that. What they found is it's not that you take it. People have this confused because of YouTubers. It's not that you take it and then you start having, you know, cardiac chamber or valvulopathy, like right away or something. Like you need to be dosing 200 milligrams plus, which in a modest dose of 0.25 once or twice a week would take you 5 fucking years. So, I mean, you know, that's the bottom line on that. It's just, it's not gonna happen unless it's only found in people with prolactinomas to an extent. And there's a minor percentage of those people that have that issue. And then also people that, more importantly though, people that have Parkinson's that are using CAB as dopamine replacement, basically. So over, you know, people using it as we may use it, as bodybuilders use it, as biohackers use it, you run no risk. You run practically no risk. You run zero risk of running into that problem. You run as much of a risk of getting HIV from a sex worker when you're wearing a condom that goes all the way down to the shaft and works correctly. Basically no risk. So I don't know why I used that analogy, but there it was. Zayed, can you use nootropics intranasally directly from a syringe? No, I wouldn't do that. All intranasal, nootropic formulations are, a very particular type of sterile water and the nootropic compound itself. Like it's a solution that's put together so that, it's not deleterious to be taking it. So I wouldn't try to make your own unless you read about how to do that. Of course. Thank you, bro. Thank you for being here, brother. What else? Any other questions you guys got? Post them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll end the stream and call it a day. I'm going to go and do a run at North Park. Just a few miles. Back in the day, I would run 5 to 10 miles. And, it fucking, even when I was 26, it still kicked my ass. But, these days I'm 40. I am definitely not going to be running 5 to 10 miles. I could run 3 to 5 and I'm fine. I actually feel really great at 3 to 5 at a pretty good pace, probably an 8-minute pace per mile, 8.5, something like that. Just kind of taking it easy. Just taking it easy, bro. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream. Great questions. Again, Cortex Stack right now. Buy one, get one free. That's going to last throughout the rest of this weekend, possibly into next week. So look forward to that. Again, the code for that is on the screen here. Is this here, Cortex BOGO. All right, so you add a bottle to your cart, you enter that code, Cortex BOGO, you'll get a bottle literally for free per what you buy. If you buy one, you get one for free. If you buy 6, you get 6 free. Whatever you buy on the Cortex Stack, you're going to get for free. Kisspeptin I'm getting from Peptide Sciences, all right, Peptide Sciences, which is where I've gotten a good degree of the peptides that I've used over time. TB500, VPC 157, things like that. So yeah, it's a pretty reputable company with good quality peptides. And, they have a lot of fucking crazy shit that you can try if you're looking to try different stuff. Like they've got Ganadorelin. I'm going to try that too. I haven't taken Ganadorelin, so I'm going to run that at some point. They've got a lot of stuff. They have every, growth hormone secretagogue you can fucking think of there, and they've got like even the weight loss peptides, the appetite suppressant peptides. They have all kinds of peptides. So Peptide Sciences is where I go, and that's where I got my Kisspeptin. All right, boys, enjoy the rest of your day. Content coming this week, loads of content as usual, and fucking love you guys. Thanks for the question.